The last game, Carson.
No,
do you not know anything about Castlevania? Your knowledge of the series is like disappointing.
Oh my! I'm sorry. The knowledge of a series I never played and don't really like. Oh yeah, I'm bad about not knowing them.
Look, Carson, look. The last 3 Castlevania games were a reboot.
I meant before those.
No.
Oh my god!
No,
Why did I do
it was
that
probably a
instead
DS
of
game,
going
Carson.
up?
I thought the last.
None of the DS games had you playing a Belmont.
I thought it's either the last Game Boy game or the first DS game is the one that takes place on 1999.
No! Again, like I said, I'm gonna say it again. None of the DS games have you playing a Belmont. In fact, we haven't played a Belmont since we played Leon.
Leon
Leon is the
Brian
remember
needs
how I told you about Leon earlier?
Huh?
What?
Remember how I told you about Leon
I said
earlier
me-
today, Carson?
If you're commenting on what I said, I said meet
Leon was the last
Zonin.
time we played a Belmont. That was the first PS2 Castlevania game.
But he's basically dead.
Well, the thing is, part of what kind of confuses me, holy shit, the game actually does the combo there. These are based off competitive players.
Which means the only the person before we played the
is,
Belmont we played before Leon was Richter.
Well, the thing is something that something with you that's kind of confusing me. When you say like the last Belmont we played, are you talking about in terms of the like order the games were released?
Aside from the reboot, the only Belmont we played since Richter was whoever was in N64, which I don't know who that is.
Shadow Man. That's not
And then
Spider.
we played Leon.
That's not Spider. Or Maruno.
All 3 DS games, not 3DS games, but
Yes.
the 3 games on the DS.
How many times are you going to go over that confusing?
Well, because recently I said something to somebody else and said that same phrase, and they made the same mistake Carson made.
Because when you list those right.
Yeah, I said 3 DS Castlevania games, and they're like, no, you played a Belmont in Mirror of Fate. No. The 3 games that were on the DS, not Mirror of Fate. If we want to get super technical, the last, aside from 3D, the last Belmont we played was Alucard. That's why if you want to get hyper technical.
Roy is kicking your ass, Carson.
That's how you can tell we are.
Roy's our boy.
That's how you can tell we're inaccurate here. Oh god damn it! It didn't work.
Did anybody else know that Roy's our boy?
If anyone asks why I love that Yoshi kill so much, it's just because that is the funniest shit to me.
So we played Dawn of Sorrow, Carson, where we played the reincarnation of Dracula.
I thought you played a.
Then we played Morris.
Who do you play in the Game Boy Advance games?
Which one? Oh, you know what, Carson?
Because I thought the last Game Boy Advance one you play a Belmont.
You know it might be Juiced.
Yeah.
Juice?
Yeah,
Juice?
I don't know too much about the Game Boy one.
You play him or Julius?
No, you don't play. No, Julius doesn't have a game.
Oh.
The only game Julius is in Dawn of Sorrow.
Oh noes.
No battery.
The hilarious thing about it is that Dracula is dead, and you just hear about it in Dawn of Sorrow. But we never play a game where we actually kill Dracula until we play the reincarnation of Dracula. So therefore, the only reason he's dead is so that it can happen. And then after that, we rebooted and played Gabriel Belmont, who became Dracula. And then he had Trevor and Simon.
Turn around.
I don't know who Juiced is.
Juice?
You see, like... You see, this is why it's like, because of the amount of spirits, I'm partly okay with them not, like, 100% giving the, like, spirits new renders and stuff, but at the same time, I feel like you could have had at least a tiny little info card saying at least what game they're from. Yeah, when you get the spirit, you get the game's title up there, but you have, like, you should be able to click on Juice and at least get the Castlevania game he's from and
So
the
Fire
platform.
Emblem was a good series. Mechanically,
Only became good once it hit Awakening.
Mostly.
Once that permadeath was fucking bucked out of there, got infinitely better.
Hey! Mechanically,
Jonathan.
it has tried to improve each game. It has made decisions that weren't necessarily good.
I don't understand the problem with permadeath.
I should not lose a unit because I got to the end of a
Because the
fucking
whole point-
map and the game just decided we're just gonna crit you now. You see that 2% crit? That's just gonna go off.
That is an-
Hour and a half down the drain. Bye,
That is an
motherfucker.
occurrence. That is a thing that happened.
But it,
That doesn't mean that permadeath is just the worst thing under the sun.
but it was out of my control. I lost the character
What
because
do you
the
mean it
game
was out
just...
of your control? What was out of your control? The fact that your character could have got critted and died?
The fact that the
That
game
won't
landed
make you okay.
a 2% crit right there at the end of
Sorry
the
about
fucking
the
mission.
comment.
Look, I don't care if you like permadeath or not, I like it.
I can't stand it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see the problem with permadeath. Especially in the game where literally the developer of the game literally looked at us and told us, hey, you're supposed to use the other characters. That's what you have. That's why you have them.
My problem with permadeath is, like, I feel it's a thing of artificial difficulty because of the luck-based elements in Fire Emblem. If every attack in Fire Emblem would always hit and always do the same amount of damage, then permadeath would be fine. But that's not what it does. A lot of times, moves
There would be
miss,
no point.
or moves
There would be
arbitrarily...
no point in weapons.
moves miss, or they arbitrarily do more damage. Or not at all, because they missed.
Yes, because it's a strategy RPG.
I don't have a problem with permadeath.
I also
If they ever,
also part of the other reason
and look, Carson, let me put it this way.
Hold on, before you say that, I will give a caveat. Part of the other reason I hate it is because the Sacred Stones has no fucking mid-chapter saves. If it had mid-chapter saves, I could put up with it a bit more.
Why?
Because if I'm saving
I would hate
constantly,
to
I
really
won't
be in a
have to...
situation where I've played the game, played through the section 3 times, and then I determined that there's literally that my mid-chapter save is literally pointless because I don't want to be in this state anymore.
That's actually also another thing, which is why the permadeath bothers me. The game doesn't roll the RNG when you get to the turn. The Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games, I believe all...
Would a Franklin badge fuck this over?
I believe so, yes.
You might want to put on a Franklin badge.
That's another...
Need no Franklin badge.
That's another thing, was I believe the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games, what they would do is they would roll the RNG before the chapter starts. So before you go into the battle, that crit basically at the end of the fucking chapter, the game just decided you would do that long before you even get to fighting that enemy. The game basically rolled, whoever fights that enemy will get a fucking crit. The funny thing is, Pokemon Stadium uses a similar type of RNG, rolling it long before you're in the battle.
I don't recall that. Dude.
Wait,
I recall.
wait, which one is Stadium? I get Stadium and
I recall the rolling of RNG
So, can I go
in
back to my
Fire Emblem
point?
games pre Awakening being different. I don't recall it being rolled beforehand. Though.
I've heard apparently it's as soon as you basically hit the start of the chapter, every miss, crit, and hit are all rolled basically as soon as go, essentially.
Yeah, I don't
Man,
recall
you
that.
skipped that spirit. Anyway, so Carson,
Yes.
I like permadeath, but you know what? I'm okay with the game introducing the non-permadeath mechanic because I think it is a good way to introduce new players to the game. If they ever sat there and said they were getting rid entirely of permadeath, I would be triggered as hell.
I wouldn't.
I would. Because, here's my problem with that, Carson.
Because at that point, we're really cupcaking.
Look, it doesn't matter what kind of spirit you pick. Here's my problem with that, Carson. And my entire problem with that entire statement. Because I will sit there and say, I am fine if somebody wants to utilize the other gameplay style. You are literally telling people who like permadeath, fuck you.
Well, most people that like it are elitist anyway.
Again, you're playing a game, and the entire point of the game is that people die.
But look. Brian, why is it
people dying was a problem and shouldn't be in the game, then we wouldn't have dying in the first place.
Look, Brian, look, again, I'll say it again. I'm okay with the other style.
Jesus.
Sean, that's not my point. My point is that the original whole point of this game was that people died.
Yes?
If people dying was a problem and shouldn't be a thing, then it wouldn't have been a thing from the beginning.
Fire Emblem was also originally it's basically a 30-year-old Famicom game, so a lot...
Again, we're putting age onto something that has survived all of those years.
A lot was different back then.
Again, we're putting age on something that has survived all of those years.
And
as if you haven't noticed, we've literally changed all of those things. For example, the discussion we're having right now about the fact that we introduced a mode that didn't have permadeath.
Did Famicom Wars have permadeath?
Look, we got rid of permadeath. Well, we didn't get rid of it.
You can turn
Getting rid of that playstyle.
But you see, there's a reason the other reason I wouldn't have a problem with them, you know, if they just totally turned it off, is you could simply just, when a unit dies, not use them Nuzlocke style.
That's not the same thing.
No, it is.
No, okay,
No,
Carson, look,
it's not the same thing.
you're talking about.
Unit dies. They're out of a mission. Next mission, don't
okay,
pick them.
No, I have two problems with what you're saying.
And then the one.
What's your
who you going to pick in their place?
What you're saying is a way the game. The problem is, Carson, the game is actually physically designed with what you're set with permadeath in mind.
Yes.
No, it fucking is.
Yes, it is. That's why you have. That's why you have more than one thief.
Kaze.
That's why you have more than one ninja. That's why you have more than one this. That's why you have more than one that.
It's also
because when that one dies,
it's also
that's your replacement.
It's also confirmed by the creators.
On Sacred Stones.
Correct.
The creators.
No, instead you get 3 trainees that literally can be any of those classes.
The games are designed with that in mind.
And
the reason you get useless,
and also
the reason you get useless units is for that reason. Those bad units you get in most Fire Emblem games.
I know pre-promotes are there.
No,
basically.
the bad ones. Kaze. Those units. They're there so that when good Kaze dies, you can still have Kaze. Actually,
again,
the actual intention...
Why do you have Ross and Garcia? Because if your Garcia dies, guess what Ross can do? Garcia's job.
But if you wanted to play without permadeath, that's okay. You can make that choice by turning it off. But I think the ability to turn it on is important.
Brian, you could try a reflector badge. Sprinkle badge if you need to.
And to some, it's the better way to play. I personally, since my first playthrough of Awakening, have not touched the non-permadeath rates.
I feel there's too much RNG for it to be rewarding.
But I enjoy it.
I mean, if somebody's gonna die,
Plus
they're
Awakening,
gonna die.
plus
They're
Awakening
gonna die
is
because I
shit
did something
easy
wrong.
anyway. That's not the point. I do not find it fun to just go... Look, I honestly think it adds level of strategy that is not present in the non...
But, again, I feel that the strategy is undermined when I...
Hey, I feel like what you're saying is undermined.
Hey.
Because you know what I do in your mode?
What?
Alright, Brian, you go tank him. You're gonna die. But it's okay. Because next turn, I'm sending Carter over there. He gonna die. Then I'm sending you. You're gonna die. And I'm gonna go kill him.
Okay, so yeah, if you knocked it off,
He knocked it off. That's...
Face tanking
it works.
through chapters is not the same as having to carefully calculate.
Wow, Charizard, you are being a bitch!
But, it's like I said before, even when you do carefully calculate, I have everything all planned out. I have, like, sword masters over here to basically dodge tank the axe units, magic units over here to exploit knights, low resistance.
I don't need to play anything else.
Enemy was a horse slayer to basically take out all the cavalry. It all works. Oh, 2% crit, 30 minutes down the drain. I planned out, had everything going perfectly well. I was doing an effective strategy, and then the game was said,
as the individual in this room that played Conquest on Lunatic up to the last chapter, if someone's gonna die, they're gonna die. They're gonna die because I messed something up.
Look. That is part of the fun.
That's not fun to me, that's annoying.
That doesn't have to be fun to you. But I respect your gameplay style. What I don't respect is the fact that you sit there and say, your way isn't fun. But yet I enjoy it. I do not think taking it away is the appropriate action, because taking it away and then playing Nuzlocke style isn't the same as the game being designed with the fact that you might have permadeath in mind.
Why do you do so much damage?
Because heavy characters are broken in this game?
Plus, I think his spirit gives him increased fire attacks. Yeah, this is a battle I kind of won was bullshit. I won because the game flare blitzed and essentially sent itself off the ledge.
What? Use counter.
Use counter? I'm in air!
You can use counter in the air.
Well, that's not the thing, though, Sean. I'm getting burned to fucking death.
Brian, if you counter, you counter the flames.
Yeah, the flames? Like one flame of it? I'm using a Franklin badge, Sean.
Counter! Use your counter! Press counter! Press down B!
You know, the funny thing...
He will counter the flame!
You know, the funny
Sean, I just stood there and literally deflected them.
No! I don't mean deflect the flames! I mean press it so that he'll counterattack Charizard!
The funny thing is when I was...
You literally get free counters because he's spewing fire!
When I was playing through...
All you have to do is spam the counterattack button!
When I was playing through World of Light on my own, literally the only way I was able...
See? You literally get free counters. He can't stop them because you're being hit.
Literally the only way I was able
Doesn't
to be...
make any sense.
What?
What do you mean? It's a hit.
Counter. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't make any sense. Is that I didn't know that was like that being a thing is just hilariously bad.
What do you mean? It's always been a thing. That's why swordsmen are broke.
And have you seen the range on Norse grab?
That's what you need to do, man. You need to grab him.
Yeah.
I hope there's a spirit in the game that's like a version of Marth, and all it does is increase grab range.
So I really fucking would. Charizard hanging out in another Pokemon League?
But also, Carson, I also have just a disdain for changing a way a game is entirely. Yeah, I'm fine with you adding modes, but if you sit there and get rid of it, that would be like if somebody sat there and said, let's make Nuzlocke the only way you can play Pokemon.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm okay with them getting rid of modes or features if the things they get rid of are bad.
But it's not
There's nothing bad about permadeath. It's literally the fact of the matter that you're mad that something happened and so somebody died. But you don't have to restart the game for that to fix that.
That's also to go back to your point of
you being mad because somebody died because you made a mistake is a thing that happened.
That's another thing. The thing about it is,
but it doesn't mean that you have to restart the game to fix it.
There's another thing. The creator,
yeah, that's basically how I won.
The creator does not the creator of Fire Emblem or the current creators of Fire Emblem don't intend for you to restart the stage.
But you see, that's the funny thing of it's like, if you restart, you over-level the same group of units, and the game becomes too easy because you have a group of units that's broke. But if you basically roll with the punches and keep the permadeath, you're then now at a huge disadvantage because you now have to use a terrible, under-leveled group of basically characters that have been neglected the entire game. So it's either too hard or too easy.
It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So anyway, when it comes to Fire Emblem, do you prefer the permadeath to be off, or do you prefer to leave it on? I would love to know your preferences, because I find this topic really interesting. I agree with Carson. I think there's too much RNG involved for the permadeath to be fun or fair, but anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. My social media links are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and leave some comments. If you want to keep up with our videos, hit the subscription button and ring the notification bell. And if you follow me on social media, that helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. See you all next time.